Hello, everyone, and welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin, and today I got my very special guest, David, from the 4K Lowdown, and we'll be discussing North by Northwest from 1959, starring Cary Grant. So, without further ado, let me bring on my guest. What's up, man?
What's up, Harrison? Thanks for having me on, brother. I'm so excited to talk about this movie.
Awesome. And yeah, how you been? Anything new with you?
Oh no, we just did our show together for your high five. That's on my
Yeah.
channel right now. That was an amazing show. We got to see talk about some great classic movies. A lot of them I've never seen. So that was awesome. Of course, coming up, we've got our By the Numbers show, which is it's every Tuesday right now, but we'll be moving back to Wednesdays soon, where we talk about new releases. But yeah, I'm real anxious to talk about this. I'm a big Hitchcock fan, so
Oh, awesome. We got
I'm
right
excited
the
for
right
this.
guy then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and before we get started, why don't you kind of introduce yourself to the audience? Kind of talk about your channel and a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, guys, I am the 4K Lowdown, also known as David Lowe. My last name is a part of the Lowdown, so it's Lowedown. I do a show where I do unboxings. I do what's called a town hall meeting, where I go to town and I bring in movies. Also have live streams for the Faces for Radio podcast, where I talk about new releases every week. We pick 5 new releases that are either in the theater or on streaming or on physical release. And we talk about those to see if anyone would be interested in watching them, and top 10 lists and things like that. Basically, all that fun stuff. Really love movies and really love talking about them.
Awesome, man. Well, and thanks again for coming on. And all those links will be down in the description below. And if you're listening, I'll have that in the bio. All right. And so before we get started, kind of what are your initial impressions and thoughts on North by Northwest?
Oh man, this is pound for pound my favorite Hitchcock movie of all time. And not necessarily by score, but by by feelings, by
Hmm.
impression in watching the movie, just the way it all comes together for me. So whereas, movies like, The Birds and Psycho are your real popular, like, top tier stuff. And then of
Yeah.
course I love Rear Window and Vertigo. But North by Northwest, it's kind of the redheaded stepchild. It's not one that gets talked about a lot, but if you watch it, you'll understand.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And I can't really decide because I love Rear Window as well, but this is definitely one of my favorites as well. Because
Yeah.
I mean, Cary Grant, man, he knocks it out of the park. He's
Dude, he is
amazing.
so good in this.
Yeah,
And even Marie Saint is
yeah,
just
her too.
spectacular in this movie. But yeah, I love Jimmy Stewart in Rear Window. And then of course I love Vertigo. Both of those are really, really good movies. And then, like, by score, I would probably score them higher, but North by Northwest has this special feel that you just can't shake it.
Yeah, you know, it almost has a James Bond feel to it.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like a proto James Bond film.
Yeah, okay, there's one. Did you ever see The Man with One Red Shoe with Tom Hanks?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's what this movie reminds me of.
Mm.
It's you know, we're gonna make up a spy and then kind of throw him to the wolves, and that's
Oh
and
man.
that's what kind of this was. And The Man with One Red Shoe with Tom Hanks kind of, um, I'm going to say, copies this a little bit, to where the government just kind of makes up this spy, and they see Tom Hanks in an airport and they go, oh,
There he
the
is.
the spy is the man with one red shoe. So then all these other agencies, Russia and China and all these other guys, are after Tom Hanks, and he's just a musician. He's just a dude.
Oh man, that's
and
awesome.
so and that's really, really funny. It's a great movie. If you get a chance, definitely watch it. But it really has a lot of the same tones as North by Northwest.
Hmm. Gotcha. Well, I definitely need to check that one out because I love the story of this one.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's get into our actual review itself. So we'll start off by going over the plot. And so for you, kind of your scale of 1 to 5, what are your thoughts on the plot? And yeah, just what are your thoughts on it and impressions with it?
Well, it's a, basic idea for the plot is um Cary Grant is an advertising executive that gets mistaken for a spy and then has to deal with all this stuff from even their own CIA, but other agencies are messing with him and doing stuff, and people are trying to kill him right and left.
Yeah.
So he's got to try to get out from under this, and at the same time, just find out who's framing him as this guy, and then enter in Eva Marie Saint as the love interest slash extra antagonist that causes a lot of problems for him, but at the same time he's like trying to help her because he's a good guy. So plot overall on a 1 to 5, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. 4 out of 5. No, that's a great score. And I think I'll have to agree with you here. I love how it kind of is a Rube Goldberg type of thing where, it starts kind of small where he's mistaken and then it just goes on and on and on to the point where he finally decides, you know what, to heck with it. I'll play Kaplan. You know,
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And um, let's see, the only real issue I have is just how abruptly the film ends.
Yeah.
I feel like it wrapped up way too quickly because it's such intense buildup that I was so dissatisfied with that ending.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
I agree
because
with that.
yeah, and because of that, I gave it 4.5. It's not terrible at all, but
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
wanted
I just
more.
I don't look at the ending as part of the plot. So that
Mm,
was that's interesting that you brought that up. But I do agree with that. But on the other side of the coin, it like it plays like it ends sooner,
mm,
and then there's another level, and then you think that's the end, and then there's another level, and then you think that's the end, and then there's another level. So I liked how that it was like stairs leading to nothing, like the Winchester Mystery House, where you're just like, oh crap, I'm stuck, and then it just falls off and it's over, and you're like,
like,
oh
oh,
okay.
okay.
So you get this build up and build up and build up, and then the door's locked, and you're like, oh, I can't get to the roof. So yeah. So yeah, I dug it, but yeah, I'm still 4 out of 5 for the plot. But yeah, I still think it was solid.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on to the acting. Kind of talk about who your favorite actor was in it and any relationships or anything that stood out to you, and also out of 5.
Okay. Um, well, I love the chemistry between Cary Grant and Eva Marie Saint, and I liked Cary Grant as a whole through the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's he's dry, he's sarcastic, and at the same time he's thoughtful. He's condescending, but he's still a good guy, and it's uh really good. But yeah, his chemistry with Eva Marie Saint and her character is also very complex, and where you judge her one way, but it's really something totally different. And then again, it takes another turn, and you're thinking, "Crap, I don't know what to think of her."
Yeah,
But I have to
kind of
say,
a double spy.
yeah, I have to say, as far as I think, Eva Marie Saint is probably my favorite character in here. I liked her the best. I did like James Mason. I think he made a great antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Martin Landau, who's kind of the muscle, and he was good and creepy. So really
Yeah.
a good 4 pack of, like a really good 4 pack of of beverages that you could drink is where you get there. But yeah, I have to pick Eva Marie Saint as my favorite in the group. But yeah, it's 5 out of 5 for acting for me.
Awesome. No, I totally agree, man. I also gave it a 4 out of 5. Cary Grant, he really is one of my favorite actors ever. And this to me, I think was either my first or second movie I ever saw him in, and I
Yeah.
just was like, man, he's awesome. Like one of my favorite scenes with him is he's at the train station, he's wearing sunglasses to kind of hide his identity.
I
And
love
then
that line. I love that line.
it's so good. He's like, oh, I can't remember what his setup
He's
is.
yeah. The setup is something wrong with your eyes.
Right, is there something wrong with your eyes? Yes, they're allergic to questions. It's so sassy.
Yeah, sensitive. I'm sorry. You gave it a 4? The acting a 4?
I give it a
Or
5.
okay. I
Yeah.
was trying to I was like, did you say 4 out of 5? Because I said 5 and you said the same. So I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page, and we are.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
great. But yeah, I love that line. They're sensitive to questions, and I was just like,
It's
but that's
so
the way
good.
he is through the entire movie. He's very
Uh
quick witted and just like he's a smart aleck through the entire movie, and it's great.
yeah. Oh, it's
Even when
so
he's
good.
drunk, he's in the car drunk, and he's like, I'm just gonna pull over. And he's trying to drive, and he's like weaving in and out, and his eyes are like wide open, and he's like, I don't know where we're going.
Yes. Or the
Um,
phone call he makes to his mom. He's like, Mom, come get me.
and his mom's great too. I got to give props to the mom.
Yes.
Um, she was awesome, just as sarcastic as her son. She's like, really? You didn't? Are you sure you didn't get drunk on your own?
You
And I
sure
was
about
like,
that?
are you sure about that? And he's like, Mom, I'm trying to, we're arrested. I'm in court right now. Would you stop? Um, yeah,
So
no,
good.
totally funny. But yeah, awesome dialogue.
Oh, absolutely, man. And um a- and again, he reminds me a lot of more of the Sean Connery type James Bond with
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And then also I also loved Eva Marie Scott. She was great too. And what else? No, that's pretty much it. I think it's a great cast all around, and I love the scene with him running when the airplane's chasing him. That's probably one of
That's
the
the
best
best.
sequences. Yeah,
That, yeah, that scene is what made this movie.
absolutely. That's why it's in
And
my intro.
yeah, and
Yep.
that's the,
That's why it's on the cover.
it's on the cover, you guys. But yeah, that's the epic scene of this is I'm like the dude's getting chased by a plane.
It's
That's
shooting at him.
and shooting at him. It drops pesticide on him. It's it's trying to hit him with the. I was like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Oh.
get chased by a bear than a plane.
Oh yeah. Well, and I remember reading somewhere that Cary Grant was so reluctant to this role, and he just thought he did so terrible. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't attend the premiere or didn't want to. Like he's just so backwards to what everyone thought of it. I just
Yeah,
thought that was so interesting.
yeah. I love when you can't really hear it too well, but when Eva Marie Saint's character has him locked in the extra bed in the sleeping car of the thing, and he's like, "I'm suffocating in here. I'm dying." She's, "Oh, be quiet.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine."
Yes. Oh,
And
that was so funny. They had good
it was so
chemistry.
funny. I'm sweating like crazy. I don't care. Just deal with it. Just back and forth. Yeah, I love their banter. Their back and forth. She could give as good as she could take. It was
Oh,
really good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add to acting?
No. I
No?
think I think I did it. I think the only stoic acting was by Mount Rushmore, but
Yeah,
they're not supposed to have any facial expressions.
that's true.
But still it was interesting.
It was kind of a rocky situation that they
It,
were
it
in, but
was. It was stone cold killers, those guys.
yeah, man. Yeah. Solid and rock solid. All
Yep.
right. All right. Well, let's move on to the directing then by Alfred Hitchcock. What are your thoughts on his style and all that for this?
Like I said in the beginning, I am a Hitchcock fan from the word go, and this is not his normal style, and that's one thing that I really like about this, um, because normally he's very serious, it's very intense, but this one's got a lot of humor, a lot of innuendo.
Yeah.
things like that. So it's not your typical Hitchcock. And I wonder if that's why it's overlooked a little bit. Um, I can't give it full marks for directing because I do think, um, I think probably Vertigo and Rear Window, I think were directed just a little bit better.
Hmm.
But I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5 for directing here.
No, that's still a good score. I I can't decide, man. I love Rear Window so much, but I
Yeah.
also I give it a 5 out of 5 actually.
Great.
I have a couple issues like the Mount Rushmore thing did look a little cheesy at some parts,
Yeah.
and the abrupt
I took it
ending,
for
but
granted.
I took it for granted. uh boy, you really rocked my socks with that one.
Oh man, I hit that one with a sledgehammer, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. All these rock puns.
I know. Let's chisel the rest of this out.
You're making this really hard.
I am. I'm taking rock hard.
Uh, you're stoned, man. No.
Oh man,
Okay. It,
I should be stoned for what I'm doing.
yes. No, enough puns. I really like everything else though, especially the very, very beginning, the setup, he's this executive or what is he
He's just an advertising. Yeah,
advertising
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's just super sassy and then just kind of like is it The Wrong Man, another Hitchcock film? Haven't seen it, but another one of those wrong place at the wrong time type of thing.
Yeah.
And he's just thrown into this adventure. I love that. And I do agree it's not too similar to any of his other more well-known films.
Yes.
Um which I actually like as well cuz when you watch like The Birds, it's like it's
Yeah.
kind of
I
it's been
gotta
done
say
already.
The Birds and Psycho, not my favorite titles. I mean, I think I think they're overhyped a little bit compared to the
Mm,
rest of his work. I mean, I challenge Dial M for Murder over any of that.
I love Dial for Murder.
Dial M for Murder is so good.
Yeah.
And that's where really the acting is just top notch. The
Yeah.
script as well, really, really well written.
I agree.
So yeah,
Grace
that's
Kelly's great
definitely
in that one.
that's definitely top. That's top 5 for sure. I mean, I gotta probably number 4 for me if I had to go. Um, but yeah, um, it's a shame that the Birds and Psycho kind of get all the limelight. They really need to focus on some of these other ones. Rope is
Mm.
another one that's really, really good.
I need to see that and Psycho. I've been I haven't seen them.
Yeah. Now I recently bought the 4K of Psycho and it's fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, I don't think it compares to the rest of these. It's really it was really the whole, getting a toilet to flush on camera was like the big claim to fame for that
Yeah.
movie. The reason why it was rated R was because they had to show a toilet flushing. It had nothing to do with the murder or the blood.
Hmm.
It had to do with the toilet flushing. That's what the censors had a problem with. So
Jeez.
um it's just really funny. And if you watch the Hitchcock film with Anthony Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
which he does an amazing job playing Hitchcock. They talk about that in that movie.
I need to see that one too.
Yeah.
But anyways, compared to his other work, I think it's one. This one is one of Hitchcock's best.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, what's another one I saw? I saw The Man Who Knew Too Much from the 30s. I didn't like
Okay.
that one very much.
Yeah, I thought that one was really slow. And
Yeah.
I think Hitchcock was just kind of getting his sea legs with
Yeah.
how he wanted to direct
Yeah.
and only could, basically only did what the censors allowed him to do. And once they kind of gave him a little bit more free reign, he was able to open up a little bit more. And that's where I
Yeah.
think really, really 50s, he got really good. I think that was some of his best work was in the 50s.
Agreed. And talking about his older work a little bit too. I think a comparable film to this one would be The 39 Steps.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Good
I
one.
I think I love that one too.
I haven't seen that
So
in a long time. I want to watch that again. And when I talked about Dial M for Murder, it's been a long
uh,
time for that one. I was like, man, I need to go rewatch that.
I think they're both on Max, if I'm not mistaken, unless they're gone.
Yeah. Sound of Music like disappeared, but not that I'm incredibly disappointed.
Right.
But yeah, no, I had to get this Blu-ray because I was waiting for a 4K to come and it never came. So I bought the Blu-ray specifically for this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I wanted to have a physical copy in my hand. I have
Yeah.
Rear Window, I have Vertigo, I have The Birds, I have Psycho. I don't have this. I didn't have this one, so I wanted a physical copy of it.
I think I need to do that too because
Yeah.
I have VHS tapes of all the other ones.
Right. Yeah, and I want Dial M for Murder and Rope, 39 Steps for sure. Yeah, some of the other ones that I want. I was hoping for like more of that Alfred Hitchcock collector series that
Yeah,
he did.
yeah.
And I found a Blu-ray, a UK Blu-ray of North by Northwest and a few other ones,
Is
which
that
I
the one that looked
almost,
like his house or the Psycho house?
yeah,
Had
it looked like
like
Psycho
15
House.
movies in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think no, it only had like 4 or 5 movies in it.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one then.
Yeah, it had a house on it, but it wasn't the Psycho House. It was something else.
Okay.
And then it was just kind of looked almost, it was just like a light green color, like almost like a monotone
Hmm.
color. It was really interesting, but it was like, it was 4 movies and it was like $70. And I was like, nah. And it was used $70. I was like, no.
No.
So that's why this happened. Cause, yeah, I was able to get that for, I think $11.99 or something.
Okay. Well, whoever
Yeah.
owns it, make it a 4K. That's what
Yes,
we're saying
please.
here.
Please twice.
Yes. All right. Well, kind of talking about that, let's move on to cinematography and special effects. What are
Oh,
your thoughts on that?
man. I'm just gonna say 5 out of 5 because, dude, he gets chased by a plane.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, and I love the scene. So this guy's, he's thinking he's supposed to meet this guy, and this guy gets dropped off at this bus stop, and he's thinking that's the guy, and he's talking to him, and the guy goes, "Oh, that's funny. That crop duster's not dusting any crops."
Yeah.
And the dude looks and you see this plane just go and it's crop dusting, but it's not hitting anything. It's just hitting dirt. And he just gets on the bus and he leaves. And I'm thinking, oh, here it comes. And then, he's like, you see him and then you kind of hear it at first. And then you see behind him, the plane's heading toward him and he turns around and he's like, oh crap. And then he's like, he ducks and it's all boom. And I was like, dude, it was so good. Just for that scene alone, this is a 5 out of 5. But there were so many other things. I do think the whole Mount Rushmore thing was a little hokey. When they were sliding down, they were hanging off the ledge and
Yeah.
things like that. That was a little hokey. I don't know why Mount Rushmore had to be in it.
Yeah, it kind of felt unnecessary.
It felt like thrown. It felt thrown in. So I started to knock it down, but then there were so many other things that really make up for it. So yeah, it's 5 out of 5 for cinematography and effects.
Awesome. No, I agree, man. I just love the shots that they do to set up that whole plane sequence. It's like super wide, middle of nowhere, kind of gives you the impression he's alone. And yeah, no, I love that sequence so much. It's probably one of the best.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to add too, I love the graphics in the beginning. I love Saul Bass. He's a graphic designer in that era, one of my favorites. And it's like this green stripes that line up, say North by Northwest, and then it transitions to the skyscraper.
Yes.
So cool.
That was really neat. Yeah, I agree with that. That was really neat.
Yeah. Oh, so good, man. Yeah. I think Hitchcock, like you were saying earlier, in the 50s, that's really where he hit his stride. So he had everything. He had Bernard Herrmann, I think, in this one. He had, Saul Bass doing the titles. He had all these things all set in place, all ready to go, and it was fantastic in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5. All right, let's move on to music then. What are your thoughts on the music?
Okay. Um, I will say the music is a little bit of a low point for me. I like the intensity. It does lead you to, okay, this is going to be an intense scene. Here it comes. And we talked about this before, and I'm a sound person. I really like when you give me the good sound effects and you give me the good score and soundtrack. And there was some good stuff. Not my favorite though
Hmm.
of Hitchcock's movies. I gave it a 3.5. I still thought it was solid, and there was some really good points, but nothing really like jumps out and bites me that it's like makes the movie.
Hmm. Okay, that's fair enough. Um, I gave it a 5 out of 5. Though
Oh,
I really really liked the playing sequence alone. I think is what makes
yes.
it for me. That to me is the
That-
best use of the music and everything.
yeah, that was the huge bonus. But that was the one where I could go visually and say 5 out of 5 just for that scene. But musically, that was my favorite part as well.
Yeah,
But not enough to make it a 5 for me. I needed more from the rest of the movie to
I could
really
see
kind of
that.
make up for that. But yeah, no, I still thought it was solid.
Yeah, and I also liked the music at the beginning during the intro as well. I thought it was really good, and then once he's kidnapped, I like that kind of music too. I liked most of it, and I think it was fine. But yeah, not really much else to add to that, I guess. Maybe I should give it a lower score. Oh well, I'm sticking with a 5.
Stick with the 5, dude. No problem. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Well
I
then.
forgot I should be writing down my scores.
Oh.
I can do my total.
Oh, what are you doing? No.
I don't know. I have my scores written down, but my scores as the lowdown,
It's the low
not
score.
as a 5. So it's like, oh crap.
Well,
Um, but I can
then
still go by that and just divide it by 2, and I'll figure it out. I'll work it out.
okay. Okay. Well, I could do mine real quick then while you're tallying yours up, if that's all right.
Okay.
All right. Well, when you tally up all my points here, I get a 4.9 out of 5, which I'll be rounding to a 5 out of 5.
Hmm.
Um, I absolutely love this movie. I think it's a great introduction into the filmography of Alfred Hitchcock, of Cary Grant, Eva Mary Saint, all of the cast and characters in it, and it's such a good movie, man. If you love James Bond or action movies or anything like that, you'll have a great time with it. And also, if you like comedy too, there are some very comedic moments, especially with Cary Grant. And just this movie, and also like bringing up Baby and Philadelphia Story, have really solidified him as one of my favorite actors ever. Because he's just so good in every role he's in. I haven't seen a bad one with him yet. Even that Touch of Mink, I didn't like that movie very much. He still carried it. He was fantastic in that. So yeah, I highly recommend this movie, man. It's really really good.
Yes. Okay, so totaling mine up and doing the average, I came out to a 4.4 out of 5. So I guess that's going to round down
Mhm.
to a 4.
Hey, not bad.
Not bad. I would have liked it to be more 4.5 out of 5, but yeah, unfortunately the music kind of killed it. Now,
That's understandable.
as a part of the lowdown, I gave it a 92 out of 100. So, and that's, with other things like cast recognition and the ending and the story as a whole, the script, things like that
Mm.
score. So as a whole, that would be 4.6 out of 5. So that would be around down to 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah, so pretty close to the score you already had then.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's obvious, but would you recommend this movie to everyone?
Heck yeah. Every day and twice on Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys check this out. If it's still on Max, which they get rid of these really fast,
They do, man.
check
It's
this out.
ridiculous.
If you were any type of Hitchcock fan, or you like any type of, I'm just going to call it like a spy thriller or something like this with a little bit of comedy, a little bit of romance, this is definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, 100%, man. I totally agree. Excellent movie. All right. Well, those are our thoughts on North by Northwest. Anything you want to add before we close and get out of here?
No, just Harrison, thanks for having me on, man. This has been awesome. I loved revisiting this movie and then talking about it with you. And so if something like this comes up again and you
Oh,
think of me,
absolutely.
I'd be more than happy to come back on the show.
Absolutely, man. I mean, what kind of genre do you really like? I'm always trying to find places to put people in.
Oh man, I mean, I dig. I mean, if I had to pick, it would be horror. That would be my. I
Okay.
love horror and thriller.
Okay.
Would be my favorite. And then I dig action. I love martial arts. I love the classics. The old kung fu movies,
Hmm.
like we talked about when we talked about Yojimbo and a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
other
yeah.
ones. There's one in particular. My favorite martial arts movie of all time is the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, from 1978. So if ever you get the hankering to do something like that, I'm totally in. But yeah, dude, unless it's a musical, then I'm out. Or if you want
Okay.
to make fun of me and talk about musicals, I'd be down for that too. But
Well,
yeah, no, I'm open to just about any genre.
awesome. Well, I'll take you off for Wizard of Oz then.
Thanks. I own that though. I have it.
I do too. I haven't seen it in a long, long time. Long
Yeah.
time.
I
Fun
have it.
fact.
Dude. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Now I just got a VHS of it.
No, dude, I love this steel book, and I was like, I've got to have this.
Wow.
It's just all the roses and stuff.
That's
Really
amazing.
neat. Yeah.
Well, come on, guys. Let's get North by Northwest out.
Please give me a 4K of that. I'd be so down.
Yeah, they could do something really cool with the airplane sequence on it.
Oh, to see that remastered in 4K,
Oh, yeah.
that'd be neat.
I'm pretty sure they really flew a plane behind him in some of the shots of that.
Yeah, no, they did, especially out in the field and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they called it Technovision or something like that.
Hmm.
Because I know they did it in Technicolor
Mm-hmm.
when they filmed it, but that particular scene, because they like they superimposed Cary Grant running almost like a green screen before there was
Yeah.
even a green screen, where they had the plane flying and he was just kind of running, but there was nothing really behind him.
Oh,
Yet
wow.
yet they could cue him to just drop and dive in the ditch and things like that. And then they did the with the gunfire and stuff next to him. So it was really cool how they filmed it. Um, but yeah, they talked about that and some of the special features in here, I think.
Dang. See, that's why we need physical media because you don't get any of that on streaming.
Yeah. Every once in a while you can get an interview or a making of or something like that on streaming, but very rarely do you
Yeah.
get anything good.
Dang. Well, I might just pick up that Blu-ray then. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, man, if you get a chance. But yeah, I'm hoping with a 4K they should have all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it says so it's they have a commentary by the screenwriter, 2009 documentary revealing the master's touch for Alfred Hitchcock, explore the depths of the movie's innovations and influences, um, and then a vintage 2008 documentary, Destination Hitchcock. So all that is in this
Oh, wow.
really cool special features. But when you put the Blu-ray in, it just automatically plays.
Oh,
So you
really?
got to go to the menu and
Oh,
do
it's
that.
one of those, huh?
One of those.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh man, no special features. And then when it was done, I went and hit the menu, and I'm like, okay, there is a menu, and then got to look at some of the stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on, man. And why don't
Dude,
you
my
go
pleasure.
ahead and promote your channel again and anything you got coming on in next couple of weeks here?
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, guys, it's the 4K Lowdown, Lowedown. For those of you that don't know my last name, we do by the numbers every week, which is where we take 5 new releases and view them. So we're on our next episode coming up on Tuesday, and that's at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern. On Thursday, we have the high five, and the high five, like Harrison did this week, we have a guest on picking 5 of their favorite movies. And on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Mike Masters from the Something Awesome podcast. He's picked 5 movies that are really interesting that I can't wait to talk to him about. And then, of course, by the numbers again the following week. And 2 weeks, August 10th, is going to be another episode of the High Five with Pop Cultural 33. Evan's going to be on with 5 of his
I'm excited
favorites.
for
We're going
that.
to talk about that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So Tuesday and Thursday for the next 2 weeks, we've got live streams coming. So hopefully you guys check it out.
Awesome. And all the links will be in the description below. And again, thank you so much, man. And you're always welcome.
Oh
And
man, anytime you,
yeah.
I'm more than happy to come into your house and eat stuff out of your fridge and stuff. So yeah,
Oh,
anytime
absolutely.
you want to have me over, I'm so down. And you're always invited to my house as well.
Yeah.
Um, we'll get you on for another high five soon and do another live stream. Just get you on and do a live stream, maybe a top 10 list because we've got top 10 lists by studio is coming this year.
Ooh.
With our first one in September, we're going to do our top 10 Disney movies, and this is straight Disney, no MCU, no Fox, nothing like that, nothing they've bought recently, but just a straight up classic Disney stuff. No Pixar either.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, we're going to do our top 10 Warner Brothers movies because they're both celebrating their 100-year anniversary this year.
That's right. Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
maybe
awesome.
we'll have you on for our Warner Brothers one.
Oh, I would be down, man. That'd be awesome.
Cool. I'll talk to Rich about that. And we'll see if we can do it.
All right. Well, thanks again, man. And thank you all so much for listening and watching today's episode. And, this has been Really Old Movies. New episodes released Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and also Rumble. So, again, thank you so much. It's been Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. This has been David from the 4K Lowdown. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.